Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jake, and in today's video I will be telling you all about the dual citizenship oath-taking ceremony which I had at the Philippine Embassy here in London. I will be telling you the timeline of events, what documents you need to bring, what to expect during the ceremony, and what you need to do after the ceremony. This video is brought to you by TapTapSend, the world's fastest money remittance app where you can send money back to the Philippines with no fees and guaranteed highest rates. My oath-taking ceremony was scheduled for 10 in the morning. By 9:36, I was already by the doors of Philippine Embassy in London, and I was wearing, as instructed a few days before, a semi-formal or a formal attire. Once I was in, I was directed to the second floor to the consul's office, which is just beside that room where I submitted my documents. So it's just on the left side. When I got there, there were already like 4 people. So I wasn't quite sure if taking video was allowed, and I did not want to cause any trouble or invade the privacy of other people who are there, so I did not take a video inside the consul's office. By 10 o'clock, almost all except for 2 people were already in the room, and we did not actually start at exactly 10. We had to wait for the latecomers. Around 10:15, one of the consulate staff, this is the same lady who processed my papers during application, came in with a bunch of paperwork and an ink pad. So she asked everyone to queue up, and then she gave us our documents where we needed to put our thumbprint and sign. So these are the 3 documents that actually you will take after the ceremony, and this will prove that you are an actual dual citizen, that you've had your ceremony at the consulate. And these 3 documents are: number 1, your oath of allegiance; second, your identification certificate; and third is your order of approval. So all of these 3 documents are pre-signed by Consul Ira Valdez, and what we needed to do at that point was just to sign it. But before we could sign these documents, the consulate staff asked for our identification. So I showed my British passport, whilst others showed other forms of identification. Then we signed into this register, and only then can we sign the 3 documents and put our thumbprint on one of those documents. The ceremony didn't start up until 10:30. So during that waiting time, majority of us were quite bored, and we thought, instead of doing the photos after the ceremony, shall we just use this time to take a photo with the Philippine flag inside the office? And so we actually did that without the consul, which proved to be quite useful because later on, after the ceremony, there was no time for us to take photos with the consul. At 10:30, Consul Ira Valdez arrived and greeted us warmly and thanked us for being there. She started off with the rights and benefits of becoming a dual citizen, emphasizing on our right to vote again so that we can actually make the decision of who becomes the president or the political leaders of the Philippines. After explaining all of this, then she was open to any questions from the room, and there were a lot of questions, and one of them was, do you need to have a Philippine passport once you get your dual citizenship? So her response was, it is not mandatory. Those 3 paper documents that you will have by the end of this ceremony are all that you need to prove your dual citizenship. But if you want to get a Philippine passport, that is possible, and that is also ideal if you want to make your process of application to anything back in the Philippines, let's say banks or loans or any legal process, then you have a passport, which is the highest form of identification back in the Philippines. 10 to 15 minutes later, after the Q&A, we then stood up and did our oath-taking, reading from our Oath of Allegiance document. At this point, everything became solemn, and as we were repeating the words of Consul Ira, we started to feel something. After the Oath of Allegiance, Consul Ira played the Philippine National Anthem. And to be honest, during the singing of the Philippine National Anthem, I got a bit teary-eyed, sort of emotional. I could hear the sincerity in people's voices while they were singing. And I think some became teary-eyed as well. There was one couple during the ceremony that did not have any dual citizenship for like 20 years. They just were satisfied with the British citizenship, and now they wanted to retire back to the Philippines, and this was the reason why they wanted to get a dual citizen, and I could just see how much it meant for them. And yeah, it was quite emotional. So if you're someone who easily gets emotional or cries easily, then better prepare your box of tissues. But yeah, once the singing of the Philippine National Anthem was done, that's basically the end of the ceremony. I know in past ceremonies years back, you could have a photo with the consul, with the Philippine flag. But during that specific oath-taking ceremony for us, I think it was because we started late and Consul Ira had a different meeting after that. Then, you know, she just, after thanking everyone, she just left the office. We didn't get a chance to take photos with her. By 10:50, everything was done. And one thing that Consul Ira said to us was that an additional benefit of doing the oath-taking is that you can apply for your Philippine passport straight away after the ceremony without needing any online appointment. So what do you need in order to apply? Before we continue, I just wanted to share more about TapTapSend. So in order to use TapTapSend, all you need to do is go to Play Store or App Store and download the TapTapSend app. Then you log in and you have to put in a mobile number that matches with the country where you are sending money from. And as majority of my subscribers now know, after 3 months of promoting, it is very, very quick. I myself sent money last May and 10 minutes was all it took. Money was delivered straight away to my Philippine bank account. So there is no need to physically go to any office, no need to call anyone. You just go to the app, put in the money you want to send, and click send. So it's as easy as tap, tap, send, as the name says. So after the ceremony, I still wasn't sure if I wanted to apply for a Philippine passport because I already have my British passport and it can take me anywhere. But then I realized, you know, if I were to do a lot of financial transactions in the Philippines, it would be easier to have a Philippine passport. And since I am physically already there and I don't have to book an appointment that can take months later, then I just thought, you know what, let's just do it. So I went down to ground floor and I got a number from Kuya in order to start the queue for the passport application. So while queuing, you can fill in your passport application form. For me, I was preempting this, although I wasn't sure if I really wanted to apply, but I had already done one the day before. I filled it online, I printed it, and then I just signed it manually. So what do you need to bring with you? So all you need are the 3 documents that you just got after the ceremony. Next, you need to bring the original and have a photocopy of your PSA or NSO birth certificate and a valid ID. For me, I used my British passport for this. So for the 3 dual citizenship documents, you need to submit photocopies, not the original. So I had to go to Ryman's, which is 5 minutes walk from the embassy. The only thing with Ryman's is that it can be quite pricey. So if you are coming in with a friend or you befriend someone during the ceremony, it's better that you group into 2 or 3 people and you still pay for the same price. I can't remember specifically, but I think it was about 1 to 15 copies is for this certain amount that you pay. So it's better to group your documents when you photocopy them. Whilst you are there at Ryman's, which has a post office, you also need to get a special delivery envelope that costs £7.65. That will be your return envelope, so the embassy will send you your new passport via special delivery back to your home address, so you don't have to come back to London when it is ready. So in your queue for the passport application, the first window is for the checking of documents if everything is complete and genuine. Next is window 2, which is your cashier, where you need to pay £55 and they do not take cash anymore. You need to have a contactless card or a debit card that you need to put in your PIN. Third step, you have to queue again. So you've put your documents face down outside room number 3, where they take your biometrics, so your photo, your thumbprints, and all of that. And that is your last step. Even though there are only 3 steps, of course, depending on the queue, it may take slightly longer. For me, I think it took about 2.5 hours. So I finished about half one. During this long queuing time, I also took that chance in order to register myself to vote. So whilst you're queuing, just get a voter's registration form, fill it up, takes less than 5 minutes, and your name will be called even while you are queuing for the passport application. And it takes about 2 minutes to get your thumbprint, signature, and then you go back to your passport application queue. So technically, for that day, I managed to accomplish 3 major things. So that's time and fare well spent, because I managed to do 3 things in less than a day. And after this ceremony, I went back to the Philippines, had my holiday, and when I came back to the UK, my passport was already here waiting for me. So it could take between 4 to 6 weeks, because they have to process your application and have the passport created in the Philippines and then sent to the Philippine embassy. And that's when they send it to your home address. So that is it for our oath-taking ceremony for our dual citizenship. If you have any further questions, please write them down in the comments. And as you know, I answer quite quickly. I answer when I can, even if I'm in the toilet and I see your question, I will answer it straight away. I do hope you continue to support my channel by subscribing to my channel and giving this video a like and sharing this to your friends who might need the information. Thank you so much for watching this video in full. I wish you all the best in your citizenship endeavors, and I hope to see you next time on a different video. Thank you once again and have a good day. Bye-bye.